company in the 50s. In Buffalo, they're performing Cyrano de Bergerac and Private Lives in Rep when a young actress reveals publicly that Bosco has made her pregnant. She says she allowed Bosco to sleep with him after he promised to give her Carol's role of Roxanne.
Charlotte, please listen. It was right after a performance of Cyrano. I was filled with all of that passion for Cyrano, I lost my head.
You lied to me!
I didn't want to. You cornered me.
Don't you touch me!
Bosco proceeds to get plastered, and he stays that way, wearing the Cyrano costume by mistake in the Noel Coward play. The other characters include the couple's actress daughter, her old flame, and her current beau, a nerdy TV weatherman who, through a lot of plot, wears General Patton's uniform and is mistaken for a famous movie director. Now, given all of this setup, there's little payoff. Because, A, hardly a second of this is believable, and B, author Ken Ludwig writes lame dialogue. The best comic moments are the screams.
Dear Rod, don't worry about me. I'll be back in a few days. Love, Daddy. Bye.
So, a few giggles, but overall, Moon Over Buffalo is a comedy that's not funny. That's not good, especially at $60 a ticket. Mario?
Thank you, Stuart. That famous voice still at full volume, however.
She can scream.
Yeah.
Lloyd Webber's Sunset Boulevard.
I suggest you call now.
Get your tickets today.
He is on TV. Dennis reviews Moon Over Buffalo. Up next. On Broadway, starring in Moon Over Buffalo. Her last appearance on the Great White Way 30 years ago was sort of rocky. Now Burnett is back to try again. Channel 2's entertainment editor, Dennis Cunningham's here now with an opening night review. Dennis?
Reggie, thank you. Yeah, what a saga. Carol Burnett, who first gained fame on the New York stage, cabarets and off-Broadway and Broadway, left Broadway a full 30 years ago under not at all happy circumstances. And now, after long, large success on TV, bounces back to Broadway in a play by Ken Ludwig set in the Buffalo Theater in 1953. It's called Moon Over Buffalo, which had a much troubled tryout period, and quite frankly, which still is little more than kind of a rickety contraption. Most fortunately, however, it co-stars as a husband and wife theater team on the road, Philip Bosco, and welcome back, Carol Burnett.
You lied to me! Stop! After 35 years, you betrayed me!
Ladies and gentlemen, George and Charlotte Hay, in a not unusual mode, brawling. They have a wonderful relationship, do the Hays, unusual and madcap too, but somewhere deep in there, mutual admiration and even love, often under trying circumstances and major backstage complications, which involve humor of great and exhilarating comic energy, including an unfortunate out-of-wedlock pregnancy, the arrival of a major Hollywood director, and the performing of two different plays at once. Carol Burnett is funnier than she's ever been, and you know how funny that is.
Before we go, I think we should say a prayer.
A prayer?
Yes, I'm not religious. You know that. But I think it would be appropriate.
All right.
Okay? Let's hold hands. Does anyone know a prayer?
And together, Carol Burnett and Philip Bosco are comedy triumphant and a completely side-splitting joke. The first act is brief, little more than a setup. This is a farce, so it needs a setup. It also needs precise directing, and Tom Moore's direction couldn't be better or funnier. In support, I'd say Randy Graff and Jane Connell are standouts. This is that rarest of cases when the play is not the thing, but the stars are not to be missed.
What kind of audience reaction did they get? By the way, Carol looks wonderful.
Just go by, 45th Street between 8th and 9th around 8 o'clock, and you'll hear the theater rollicking,
So glad you liked it. She is so funny.
Well, yeah, you have to admire, she's an utter, complete professional.
Wonderful. Very quotable tonight, Dennis.
Oh, good.
Thank you. Well, that wrapped things up for us this Sunday night. I'm Cindy Hsu.
As his wife, relies on direct expressions to the audience, not to the other actors. She gets laughs that way, but she reminds us that she's comedian Carol Burnett, not the second-rate dramatic actress that she's supposed to be.
I'll be back in a few days. Love, Daddy. Bye.
The supporting cast is uneven, and Philip Bosco seems to be doing double duty to make up for their lack.
Echo, when you see Rosalind, give her this letter.
I am not your personal slave.
Give it to her, or I'll have you killed.
Oh, all right.
Where the hell is the mafia when you need them?
I admire the talented Heidi Landsman's stunning scenic design. It's a fabulous collapsible house. The plot of mistaken identities and drunken behavior has too many hard-of-hearing jokes and lame one-liners. As the old actor said on his deathbed, dying's easy, comedy is hard. Moon Over Buffalo proves how hard comedy is.
Even with Carol Burnett.
Even with great talent.
Thank you, Pia.